Order. Question number 5, Chris Bishop.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Economic Development. What recent announcements has the government made regarding support for earthquake-affected businesses?
Well, that's a good question.
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, following the November 14th earthquake, the government announced an initial support package for businesses in and around Kaikoura. Since that time, ministers have been working closely with other affected communities and industries on the type of further support that may be needed. Yesterday, Social Development Minister Anne Tolley and I announced the extension of the government's business support package to severely affected Wellington businesses. The package will support businesses not covered by their insurance who are unable to operate due to cordons in place in the Wellington CBD and Lower Hutt and are unable to move and operate elsewhere. The government will continue to monitor the situation in other parts of the country affected by the earthquakes and would encourage anybody who is struggling as a result of them to contact the government helpline.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Chris Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, how does the situation in Wellington differ to Kaikoura and surrounding areas?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Wellington overall is functioning very well. A local state of emergency has not been declared, so the main impact has been felt by a relatively small number of businesses stuck behind cordons that have been put up in the days since the earthquake. So though the level of funding will be the same per business, that's $500 a week per full-time employee and $300 a week per part-time permanent employee, we've limited it to businesses behind those cordons who are unable to operate or move elsewhere, recognising that largely Wellington is open for business. The situation in and around Kaikoura, of course, is quite different, as it was clear from the first day that it would take a lot of time to restore road access to the town and surrounding towns. So in that case, most businesses are able to open, in fact, but don't have the customers able to return to Kaikoura.
Supplementary question, Paul Foster-Barry.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker. What other support is the government providing to those affected by the earthquake?
Good question.
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, following consultation with the Kaikoura community, we extended the initial support package to cover larger businesses there as well. Although set for an initial 8-week period, that will be reviewed before Christmas to assess what sort of extension is required. Revenue Minister Michael Woodhouse has announced a range of measures to help those affected by the earthquake, including waiving the use of money interest when a person is unable to pay tax on time and cancellation of late filing and late payment penalties. Primary Industries Minister Nathan Guy has announced a primary sector relief package worth at least $5 million to lessen impacts on farmers, fishers and growers, with a further $2 million for scientific research on the impact of the earthquake on fisheries around Kaikoura. And Minister Guy and I are working closely with the wine industry in Marlborough to ensure that roadblocks to their recovery are removed, particularly in relation to storage capacity for the 2017 vintage.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, James Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If it transpires that there are businesses that are in Wellington that are at risk of going to the wall but don't meet the existing criteria, for example being behind a cordon, how flexible is he willing to be with the criteria in order to ensure that businesses that need that support get it?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as we've said since the beginning of this period post the earthquakes, we're happy to adapt the package as required from time to time. I would encourage anybody in that situation to call the government helpline. For the members' benefit, it's 0800 779 997, or talk to their local Chamber of Commerce, Wellington Chamber of Commerce or Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce. But obviously, we can't attempt to protect everybody from the turnover impacts of this particular event. What we can do, though, is provide support for them to be able to retain their full-time employees if they're unable to operate for a period of time which is completely out of their control.
Question